Neon Violet, there's no way I'm putting Kaiser in mid-A. I'm just letting you know that right now. What's going on, everybody? Jay, Violet, Sargon, Aggregate, Organizer, Cypher, Julio. What's going on? There's no way Kaiser Ghidorah is in the A tier. It's just not happening. I do not foresee that that's the case. Doesn't matter what you say, someone's going to try to flay you. Happens every time. Happens every time, mathematician. Every time. But this is going to be the actually perfect tier list. As it always is. We finally got skins. Yep, there are skins on the way. February. At some point in February, the skins will get added. So I assume maybe in the like middle of February, the beginning of February, we'll probably see what they look like. Miller is in the other room. Playing Go, so don't make a shit list. BB. I don't even know what Go is. Perfect tier list proceeds to slander Ginza. No, I'm not gonna slander Ginza. I think Ginza's pretty decent this season. I don't think Ginza's the best, but I think Ginza's pretty good. All right, yours is Rent at 31. He's mid-A. I don't know. I don't think he's gonna be. I don't think Kaiser Ghidorah is. I think Kaiser Ghidorah kind of sucks. But that is a spoiler for later. We gotta get through everybody else first, right? First things first. As always, it is tradition to start with the most powerful unit in the game at the #1 seed, Air Base, in the S+ tier. Air Base is fantastic. For 5 energy, you get to summon 7 choppers. All of them will die instantly. And you waste 5 energy. So that is why Bomber is actually in the D tier. The Bomber sucks. We fucking hate. I'm not the Bomber. I'm already hating the Bomber. The Air Base sucks. Air Base sucks. Air Base is going to be one of the worst units that we have today. Anguirus. I feel like, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I almost feel like Anguirus isn't in the A tier anymore. And if he is, he's at the very bottom of the A tier. I'm not super convinced on Anguirus lately. There's just too much damage going around right now. And Anguirus used to be extremely tanky. He is still tanky, but there's just a lot of damage coming through. There's just a lot of damage coming through. And you don't see him very often because he's going to get nuked immediately. I think he might go into B. I think he goes maybe into the top of B. I think this is him getting devalued. I'm going to put him in B for now. There's room to improve later on his placement. But I think he's probably just at the top of B. There's just too much damage going around that he can't really do anything about, especially between him not being able to hit Shinden this season, him not really doing anything against the Mothras. -1 is gonna fucking blow him up. You have Pen of Frustration for Bomber killing you. Nah, the Bomber sucks. High B, very low A. I can agree with that. Batra, I think it's time to move Batra out of the S tier. I think that Batra has been on the way out for a little while now. Not really a super necessary character in your deck anymore. The damage boost that Batra gives is really, really solid. There's just team compositions that you can be running that are still going to do a lot of damage without the Batra boost. Space Godzilla is pretty decent right now. I'm going to keep Batra in A, but Batra's probably going to be the top of A, in the top area of A, probably the top 5 in A. What kaiju would I date? Your mom. Easy question. Next. Fix testing once again predicts future ranked meta. That's true. Batra's A, Megalon and GMK counter this. Yeah, I mean, GMK counters Batra. Megalon not really seeing a ton of play. Counters Batra. He has a decent amount of health. The main problem with Batra is that he's kind of just getting power crept. I mean, this is gonna be the case with a lot of characters, especially -1's explosion is gigantic, and his health pool is ridiculous. It's just at this matter of time, Batra's kit is really good. Getting power crept in stats is what is bringing Batra down. That's it. Simple as that. It's power creep. It's just power creep at the end of the day. Kit is still really good. Still a really good unit. Just not strong enough to do what needs to be done. Other characters are going to benefit a lot from him, like Earth and -1 and stuff like that, but I don't know. Batra's just not doing it anymore. Watching the stream playing Voxel Wars. Also, what is this Anguirus Nay saying? Not as good as he was. This season we're knocking a bunch of characters down. Batra Larva is still gonna be in the B tier, the bottom of the B tier. Batra Larva hasn't really changed at all. I'm gonna keep Batra Larva in the B. Batra Larva isn't any worse than it ever has been because you're not really fighting the Batra Larva or countering Batra Larva. It just exists to give the boost and then evolve, and it's really easy to evolve. So he will remain in the B tier where he has been for the foreseeable future, or for the last few months and into the foreseeable future. Batra is moving down to A, and Gearus is moving from the bottom of A into the top of B because he also doesn't have the stats to deal with what is going on. And now I think that's going to end up being a common trend that we'll probably see tonight is a lot of the year 1 and 2 characters that have not had a significant adjustment are going to begin falling down in their ranking because now we have a ton of big hitters coming in. Someone who isn't falling off is Violante. Violante, this is an easy S all the way still. Hasn't changed at all in months and months and months. 80% boost in the water is phenomenal. Even without the water boost, having a complete 360 degree AoE is phenomenal. She's 3 cost. She can hit flying. She's decently fast. She's decently strong. There are characters with better DPS than her, but all around it is hard to get better DPS than Violante with as many benefits of her as well. Isn't Anguirus better because he doesn't get baited by Shinden? Anguirus also cannot stop the Shinden. He's not getting baited by Shinden, and he's just going to get ruined by everything else on the field. He doesn't have the... he doesn't have the damage to really keep up. He's 4 energy. Anguirus' main function is to be a tank and to block shots. Are you going to pay 4 for Anguirus or 2 for Shinden? Fix testing suggests that Bio is middle S. I want to put Bio in the S tier. Actually, you know what? In the S+. You know what? I will put Violante in the S+. Purely because, obviously, fix testing is good. We're not doing fix testing right now. But -1, spoiler alert, is probably one of, if not the best unit in the game right now. His main deal is you place him in the water. Violante is going to run through -1. Run through -1. So Violante gets the S+ tier because she's going to be a huge, huge help against -1. So really I'm sad because most of my 4-star units are level 1 because 4-star units aren't appearing for me. Just got to sweat harder, man. Alright, Stealth Bomber. We're not even going to joke about Stealth Bomber straight into the D tier. Bottom of D tier. Just fucking sucks. Terrible. Stealth Bomber's terrible. New player trap, of course. 5 energy. It can't defend itself, and it does okay. Like, it does not even okay damage against the enemy leader. It's terrible. From your experience, -1 runs through Bio. -1 will run through a Bio in a 1v1 fight, of course. Violante is a huge asset to have in the water. Bio in S -1 destroys her. Bio is only S plus in Tokyo only. Viability would be S plus in Tokyo and London. I think she's getting S plus this season. Not the middle of S plus, probably the bottom of S plus. Only because now a lot of fighting is happening in the water specifically this season. That's kind of where she shines. There's not many characters that get boosts in the water, right? And if a lot of the main conflicts now are happening in the water, she's going to perform very, very well. I have not taken her off of my team this entire season. I send her up with, anything else and my -1, and she's cooking. We said Tokyo meant London. On London and New York, Violante cooks. I have not taken her off my team at all this season. She is really good. A lot of the fighting now is happening in the water because -1 exists to just blow shit up in the water. I'm putting her in the S plus tier this season, at the bottom of the S plus tier. If she's not at the bottom of S plus tier, she's going at the top of S. She's a lot more opportunity in this season than other seasons. I'm gonna put her in the S plus. Who's bribing you? Mormatician is bribing me. Now, Burning Godzilla, I would have maybe put. If I did this last season, I would have put not last season, earlier this month, I probably would have put Burning in S. But I'm just gonna put Burning in A. What level is my bio? My Violante is level 29. My Violante is 4 pieces away from 30, and my Violante is cooking everything. And she's phenomenal. But even though that I could be biased and say that it's S plus because mine is cooking things. You season all season 2, but S plus may be too much. The gap between Earth, Destroy, and -1, and everything else is crazy. She should be S. Like I said, I'm putting her in the bottom of S plus. I'm putting her in the bottom of S plus because there's so much fighting this season in the water. She's providing a ton of utility in those team fights. She is showing up with the 360 DPS. She is going to help melt Earths. She's going to do a lot of work against the -1s. A lot of fighting is in the water, and she costs 3. If she's not in S plus, she's the very top of S. Why is Burning no longer S tier? Burning hasn't been S tier in some time, mostly because for Burning Godzilla, a lot of his utility comes from the explosion. And Burning Godzilla's explosion needs to charge. You need to keep him alive to charge the explosion. But we have characters that you don't need to do that anymore. We have the 4th Angel. You don't need to charge his explosion. We have the 10th Angel. Don't need to charge the explosion. Avid 0. Don't need to charge the explosion. We have -1. Don't need to charge the explosion. The only one we needed to charge up now, aside from Burning, is Ginza. And Ginza hits everything on the other side of that board. Burning Godzilla is moved to A because, yes, he does have anti-air attack. His explosion needs to charge, and if his explosion isn't at like 2 bars, you're not really getting the most out of him, as opposed to the 4th Angel, which is the same price, who is going to hit for the full amount every time he dies, when Burning is not going to. Desghidorah. I want to put Desghidorah in. You literally need to charge up the 10th Angel explosion. Yes. Okay. Let me walk it back. You do need to charge a 10th Angel explosion. However, the 10th Angel is also immune to other explosions and has piercing and long range. And flies. I'm gonna put Desghidorah, I think, in the A tier. I think probably somewhere like around here. I had him in the S last season. He's still really good. I think what we're gonna end up having to do once I've placed everything is I think I might go back through the A section and maybe rework it. But Desghidorah is pretty good. I've seen more rainbows than Desghidorah. Dude's definitely A. Don't listen to Spence bias. No, I was always gonna put her in the A. I just don't know if I want him higher than Batra or lower than Batra. but I'm going to kind of put them on the same... I'm going to put them next to each other for now, and then maybe we come back through and try to, like, refine the list. Here we get the best boys. Okay, let me look at my tiers from last season to see what the deal is, how I place these goobers every time. Okay, I got it. Ready? This is going to go in the B tier because it is almost a guaranteed evolution. This is going into the A tier for 3 cost. Is almost always a guaranteed evolution when you place it. Odds are you're going to place the aggregate. Aggregate is going to evolve. It's going to become the flying form, and then the flying form is going to be on the other side of the field, and the flying form is going to die. Then you place the flying form for 3, and almost guaranteed you're getting Destroyer for 3. Which is phenomenal, and can win games. I play by sending all my shit up onto the left side of the field, and then I play Destroy a Flying Form on the right side of the field, so while my opponent is busy dealing with whatever's on the left, this motherfucker pops up on the right and pretty much wins me the game. Destroy is S+. I love Destroy. All the other forms of Destroyer are gas. Destroy Perfect Form, one of my favorite characters in the game. What is my favorite Godzilla villain of all time. Happy to say he steadily remains in the S+ tier, and his other forms in the A and the B. Oh, excuse me, in the B. I almost have half a mind to put him like this, because this is pretty much a guaranteed evolution, but I think that might be a little overkill. I think this is probably fine. Destroy aggregate is mid B, flying mode is low A, destroy it is S+, grab equals free win if not killed. Yeah, if you're not really paying attention to destroy a flying form, you're probably going to end up, if you don't get a win, you're going to come really close. Opposite end of the spectrum, this Destroyer Larva is garbage. Destroyer Larva gives you, 5 cost for 6 larva. They had a buff recently, and there's just a lot of AoE going on right now. And any units clumped up the way they are just going to die immediately. Not good. Not a fan. Dimension Tide. This is an S. I mean, or S+. While Destroy is better for G-Many because its level gains are higher than Bio, it should be noted that Bio ranked higher than Destroyer on Tokyo of all maps. The meat shield is not to be underestimated. There you go. How to use Godzilla -1 correctly? I got a video guide about Godzilla -1. You can go watch that. Who did I just place? Destroy Larva, Dimension Tide. Dimension Tide, once again, top of the meta. Between everything that you're going to want to throw the Dimension Tide with, pulling guys into your -1, pulling your guys into Biollante, pulling them into Earth, pulling them into Desghidorah, pulling them back into the field that Ginza can hit. There's just so much practical application for Dimension Tide. There has been for months, ever since Dimension Tide got the buff. How is Old Man Jacobs muted Dimension Tide? Because he is. Watching a Dimension Tide suck my units into -1 still below the waves makes my soul leave my body every time. Exactly. It is brutal, and in this season more than most, it is especially potent. It is phenomenal. Gonna have to disagree on Dimension Tide. Never found a good enough use for it for 4 costs when I'd rather place an actual unit with that. You're insane. You're insane. You're telling me pulling your enemy's whole push onto -1 and having -1 explode and doing all that damage plus the Dimension Tide damage isn't a goated maneuver? It definitely is. Or you could pull them into Earth within range of an Earth and a -1 and just wipe the push. Pull them into range of a 4th Angel and just like wipe the push. It's phenomenal. I understand wanting to run a unit instead. I personally am not running Dimension Tide on my team. It's insane. Dimension Tide into any one other character into S+ outside of Destroyer is going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts. You could run Final Wars Gigan and Dimension Tide, and it's still going to be a top tier deck. I'm just saying. Dorats are in the D tier again. Same reason it's in there with Destroy a Larva. Only reason it's higher than Destroy a Larva is because it's flying, and it's going to probably end up being at the top of D tier purely because it can help counter Shinden. It is not the optimal Shinden counter, but it will counter Shinden. Energy base, I usually put energy base in C. But there's a lot less trains being run, unless by, you know, Kiryu leaders who don't really know how to play the game outside of Kiryu leader. I am wanting to put the energy base at the bottom of B this season, because there is a lot of characters that are very strong that a lot of people are using. They're very popular, that cost a lot. Between using the ERB to do Ginza and regular -1 and Earth, or Waka Godzilla, or Desgadora, or Rainbow Mothra, and the lack of train bombs especially, energy base is moving up a tier, not very far, just the bottom of B, but is out of C for this go around. Right? Did I put it in C last time? I did. ERB is insane right now in egg mode. Yeah. Egg mode, it's insane because you can't really counter unless you have Mogera or Kiryu, and it goes crazy in the egg mode. Alright. Rodan, you... I think I want to put him in C. He's just fine. He evolves. He, like, serves his purpose to evolve, and he gives a speed boost. He just shows up and he dies. It's alright. You only see him the once, and then he dies. So either he's in the top-ish of C, or he's in the, like, bottom-ish of B. I might just put him in C. Because whenever I see one I'm not, like, super threatened, I'm just like, alright. Like, when I see Bylante Preform, or Destroya, or Batra, I'm like, I gotta get rid of this thing. When I see Fire Rodan flying through, I'm like, alright, whatever. But the big boy form of Fire Rodan, I still want to say is in S, but at the bottom of S. Maybe in the... I think probably in the A tier now. I mean, he doesn't have the damage or the damage to really do anything substantial. His health is low, so he will be able to drop the heal on you. I just don't... I don't know. I don't foresee him being super strong these days. I mean, every time he shows up, he dies immediately, and he heals, but you just plow through it. I think he's either at the bottom of S or somewhere in the top of A. Somewhere, I don't know where these three are ranked right now, but they're all ranked, like, together, these three. What about Mothra Larva? We haven't gotten to Mothra Larva, have we? Everyone who's asking, what about this character, what about this character? I'm going to give you a pro gamer tip for the tier list. Do you see underneath the D tier, there is, look at this, a list of characters? That is the order we are going in. You can see what is loaded up in the chamber. You have eyes. The next is this frozen Magoo. In your opinion, Desgadora, then Fire Rodan, and then Batra. Desgadora, Fire Rodan, Batra, something like this. I could see that. Like I said, I kind of want to go back through the A tier once all of this is settled. I kind of want to go back to the A tier and then just kind of smooth it out. Sunday is terrible. Sunday may actually be one of the worst units in the game. It's not as bad as these two because it is only a 2 cost. It slows, and pretty much at this point in time, it just helps you build your enemy's push. Not something that you really want to do. Giant Octopus, top of D tier, probably within the top 4 or 5 of D tier. Unfortunate. I love Giant Octopus. Phenomenal. Slow. Best slow in the game. Doesn't move at all and just dies immediately. Mine's level 45-ish and is just terrible. I love Giant Octopus. Shout out Giant Octopus, my one love. It's going to be in the D tier. Alright. Gigan, Final Wars. What are you on about? Sunday insta-kills whoever you place it on. Yeah. Oh, you're right. I totally forgot about that hidden mechanic. Gigan, Final Wars S. When I ask, have you ever seen anyone use Go in Ranked? I've used Go in Ranked. Final Wars Gigan is in the S+ tier. For absolute certain, he's in here. The buff that he got over this last summer was ridiculous. He didn't need it. He was already really good. That stun with the reach is phenomenal. The DPS on him, he's like, what, a 1.3 second attack or something like that. His DPS is great. He's cheap. His health is a little low, but he does attack. Top of S, he does get a little funky with the grappling hook sometimes. I think he's S+. I think Final Wars Gigan is definitely an S+ unit for sure. He's incredible, and he's really good for delaying pushes, especially over Ginza. Or I'm sorry, he's good for delaying pushes in the field for Ginza. He's good for delaying pushes on top of -1. He's good for protecting Earth. He's good for destroying Earth. He does get a little bit buggy, but I'm not going to hold the little bit of bugs against him and move him down a peg, because there are way worse bugs for characters in this game than Final Wars Gigans. He's a great character. I've been a big fan of Final Wars Gigan, but also Final Wars Gigan cannot stun Earth. I don't care that he can't stun Earth. He doesn't need to stun Earth, because he's attacking so fast. He's gonna run through Earth. That's the point there. Is he's gonna be able to get up to Earth and start attacking him. So while Earth is focused on something else, Final Wars Gigan is just gonna run through him. Final Wars Gigan stuns combined with Kamen Rider Leader ability. Stun Gigan is so good. Imagine if he flied. How good a battle piece would be Gigan, but if he features a chainsaw, probably good, because the chainsaws are awesome. Our next addition into the C tier is Gigan 1972. And I am being generous here. I am being generous that he is in the C tier, because he got a boost, to his health a few months back. You are paying, 4 or 5 to, like Stealth Bomber, have no defense, go up to the leader, and just do a little bit of damage. Not great. His only real use is to push other units forward, and I'm not ranking him higher because he can push the 4th Angel higher. That speaks more to, I think, the 4th Angel than it does to Gigan. Alright. Godzilla 2021. I had Godzilla 2021 ranked higher the last 2 seasons because of Earth. But now there are a lot more characters that you would need to worry about other than Earth. And especially with Shinden, it fucks his whole thing up. He's going into C tier. I think last time he was in B tier. Hell, I might even put him in the D tier at this stage. His only saving grace is if he does catch an Earth lacking, they're gone. If he catches a leader lacking, they're gone. Not a lot of positives to write home about with him. He counters Shinden by not caring. Yeah, I mean, the Shinden's going to turn him around anyway. He's going to have to stop his whole thing. It's a mess. Now, regular Tokyo version of 1954 Godzilla is going to get B tier. I think I'm going to put him in B tier right about there, behind Anguirus. I might even put him lower, because this Godzilla gets just absolutely just shredded, not by any units that your enemy has, but by enemies that you have. Shinden does not pull G21's aggro. Stop misinforming. G21's, if Nintendo damage, at least make him B. Shinden definitely does pull G21's aggro, not while he's in the middle of firing. It'll pull him when he's just chilling, which is, I would rather have him target the Shinden, like go through his whole animation targeting Shinden, and then Shinden dies, and then he has to retarget again my other guys. By that time, he's dead. He's not going to stop his beam in the middle of the beam to retarget Shinden, but Shinden's going to grab his attention when there's no beam, and then he's dead. He might as well be dead. This Godzilla all depends on how strong your other Godzillas are. And if you have weak Godzillas, he is weaker. I almost don't want to put him in the B anymore. Dimension Tide does top G21. So does Gigan 04. I should mention G21 ranked top of A in fixed testing. He dies a lot, but usually pays his own cost before dying. Cool. This is ranked. Not a lot of people have him high ranked either. I do believe in G21 supremacy. I think there is a good case for him. He's going to get shredded in ranked. Absolutely just lambasted. 110%. 1954 Godzilla. I even don't. I might want to even put him in the C just purely because he gets fucked every single time a new Godzilla gets added to his pool. G89 is definitely, I think he would be in C, and maybe like this, maybe he would be in B. I don't know. If you're like G20 get into that situation, then you're just a Dookie player. C tier is unacceptable. Jaden, this is the same. I'm not taking advice from the same person that is championing Mechagodzilla 2021. Maybe this is a stretch. Maybe something closer to this. Although he is providing to be pretty strong these days because of how close quarters everything is getting. But I mean, his days are like over, right? Why is G20 in C tier? I was gone for a while. Delete G54 mechanic entirely, good unit. I agree. If you deleted his mechanic entirely, he would be good unit. If he's in B, he's in the bottom of B. His only saving grace is that he's strong these days. That's it. I think that they're the bottom, though. They're getting close to the bottom of B. I'm trying to reorganize this, guys, because bro used the fixed data to boost bio placement, but dismisses it with G20. I didn't use the fixed data to boost the bio placement. I'm using the, as I said a million times, you're about to lose your mod status. You're annoying. Violante is getting S+ because a lot of the fighting this season is happening in the water because G21... oh my god, not Ginza. -1, his whole deal is in the water. So to counter a very powerful unit in the water, Violante has had her time to shine. She would be the top of S if it wasn't for a lot of the major encounters this season happening in the water. But he's definitely low B. He's on his way out of B. Like this, I think, probably. Earth, of course, S+, insane. I don't. Do we even need to stay on Earth any longer? Earth is obviously probably now the number 2 unit in the game. Very close to being number 1. Earth is phenomenal. Huge health, huge damage, stun immune, piercing, phenomenal. Amazing unit. Yomele, people in chat, have you seen Godzilla -1? I have. Yes, I have. Earth is a fantastic character. The best unit in the game. Outside of one other that we're probably going to talk about. Maybe 2 others that we're going to talk about. Terrestris is upsetting to me because I love Ultima. I love Ultima so much in this game. I love the sniper mechanic in this game. I love just sniping. And it breaks my heart that Terrestris is the hardest pre-evolution to evolve. He is 30 seconds. He has a 10-second regen. He's going to get about halfway up the map, and he's going to get roasted. It is super unfortunate. He's almost D tier. Ultima is A tier. I wish, and he's at like the bottom of A tier now, middle bottom-ish of A tier. I mean, he's on his way out. If he needs some kind of... Terrestris needs to have a better evolution. He needs to be like a 15-second evolution or something like that, and Ultima's going to shoot up into the S tier. Ultima could take a damage boost, a health boost, or something. His health is really good. His damage is pretty decent. It's just at this stage in the game, you're not really using Ultima too much when there's other characters that are going to get right up in his face. Like, right now the meta is a lot of close quarters combat outside of, like, Earth. You're not really going to be using Ultima a lot. There is a use case for him if you're using a Ginza deck, but then you're running Ultima and Ginza. That could be a little much, but having Ultima kind of hang back and defend is nice too. I like him a lot. I'm gonna put him in the unfortunately the bottom of A tier. I really wish that he was S+. So you know this is coming from me. I champion Ultima. I got Ultima Monster Arts right behind me. I love him. Not amazing. Hedera. This form pretty much exists just to evolve. It doesn't really do anything else to help your team at all. It's like a selfish pre-evo. It does do poison damage if an enemy passes under it. Okay. And then Hedera got a boost. Still not very good. I don't even think she's in B tier, honestly. I think Hedera's probably in the C tier somewhere. And I've talked with the player Hedera about Hedera. And I think her AoE is pretty decent. But I still think her stats are just, she's just power crept by a lot of the newer characters. Like I said, common trend, right? Common trend with a lot of them is that they're just getting power crept. Hedera's S and transforms into an S+, you're on crack. I want what you're smoking, because that sounds awesome. I used Hedera. She was one of my first level 30s. I used her since day one in the game up until maybe the Mecha King Ghidorah update last year. And I love Hedera. She does not have the stats to keep up, I think, with what today is offering, but she has a pretty decent AoE, so she's not in the D tier. She'll get the C tier. Jet Jaguar. Little Jet Jaguar will go B tier, because that damage boost is good. We'll block Shinden and just provide a little bit of cover. Regular Jet Jaguar, I'm going to put kind of in the upper end of B. The only real reason I'm putting him on the higher end of B this season is because I've had a few times an enemy Jet Jaguar has punched my -1 out of the way and has just stalled out my -1 like crazy. I mean, I can still get a few hits in, but -1 is going to have to walk back to the Jet Jaguar, but by the time that happens, Jet Jaguar's going to karate chop him again and push him away. Jet Jaguar's going to push away 4th Angels, push away the Burning Godzillas. Not super useful against flying units. JJ unironically bottom of S+ in fixed D testing. It was shocking. Him chopping away -1 was insanely useful. It frees up Shinden for Earth. See, it's funny that you mentioned that he was used on -1, and I mentioned that as well. I think that he's amazing utility for pushing characters away. I don't think he has the stats that make me want to rank him higher than some other units that might also be good at helping out your team. Because the knockback is fun and fine, but I could have Mothra on my team for 1 less, you know? Have I seen TS Dragon's video with -1 and Jet Jaguar 73? I have not. I didn't even know TS Dragon had uploaded a video. I'll have to check that out. But no, Jet Jaguar is a really good matchup against -1 and against a lot of the meta units, I guess outside of Earth and Gigan. He's one of the best meat shields in game for cause, I think, number 3 after -1 and Bio. Interesting. I'm still putting him as B tier. In ranked, especially, because he's just gonna get cooked. In like the ideal team composition, he's not gonna be in it. Because you want something with AoE, you want something to be pulling units in, like Dimension Tide. You want to be doing long-range damage. Jet Jaguar's really good at countering specific units. He's not an overall like top-tier pick, I would say. He might be a good meat shield, but you know what? We could put him over Anguirus. He might be a good meat shield, but I definitely don't think he's bringing like anything next level to your team. Now, who I do think is bringing something next level to your team is this Jet Jaguar, and I don't know if I want to put him in A or S for Jet Jaguar Singular Point. I'm going to just drop him. I'm dropping him in S for now. That's not maybe where he'll go permanently. Jet Jaguar Singular Point, good AoE, 4 cost as well, hits a bunch. No way he's S. Bro, listen to what I'm saying. I'm telling you, I'm not putting him in S right now. I just need to drop him somewhere so I don't have to hold my mouse the whole time I speak about it. I like Jet Jaguar Singular Point a lot. I think he's probably in the A tier. Probably under Batra, something like this, maybe. He's really, really solid. I like him a lot. The what am I thinking of? The blocked shots are great. Decent DPS. I'm getting like a headache. Overall good. He's probably one of the units that I would maybe debate putting higher up in A. But I think probably there is safe for now. This Kamacuras is garbage and is going in the D tier. Just atrocious. Same thing as these guys. Actually, I would put him like this because at least these guys hit in the air. These guys don't hit air. Single point jet is mid A. To be honest, S for single point JJ. Block is insane for this meta. Shuts down Earth and does well against the -1. Yeah, that's what I think is probably safe. Like, I think just for this seasonal meta in particular, him being able to block shots is really strong. I've been using him a lot this season. I think if he's in the S, he's at the bottom. This Kamacuras is in the S for sure. Still for sure kicking around in the S tier. Probably something like that at the bottom. You don't need them, I don't think, anymore because of Shinden. Kind of fills the same role, but they will stop ground-based units. They're still really powerful. The regular bronze Kamacuras, they're getting into the S tier purely because of their utility. They have a decent amount of health for being a 2 cost. They have a decent amount of DPS. There's 3 of them. Great Kiryu, the best counters for Kiryu and Mogera. Really good for hitting Godzilla Earth when he's on your side of the field. They're really suffering against like -1, but they're phenomenal for protecting your leader and characters maybe on your side of the field, like Ginza particularly. Not so good midfield and on the enemy side, except in overtime. Very, very, very good for defending your own leader. They're getting the S tier for sure, like they normally do. Kids is getting D, probably in the higher end, probably the highest position in D tier this season is going to go to Kids, purely because we can now teleport Earth, -1, 4th Angel. Kids is only as good as the units that you can send over, and we have some pretty potent units that you can send over. So Kids is getting sent into the top of D tier. King Caesar is not good anymore. I mean, King Caesar, someone tried to say to me the other day in the comments that King Caesar is S+. And I immediately called my drug dealer and I ordered the highest dose of my crack cocaine prescription because I wanted to see what it felt like to be that high. King Caesar's not good. He's basically Mothra Leo, but with less stats. He's getting into the C tier, for sure. He's extremely easy to counter. Once he gets countered, he has no fight left in him. King Caesar literally is a dog, but does not have that dog in him. And listen, I just bought a King Caesar magic card for like 70 cents to put in my commander deck because it was 70 cents. It's in my color. It's in my commander's profile colors of, green, red, and white. King Caesar's a 3 mana, 1 white card. Cool, fun and magic. Not great in battle line. So all he's good for is to do 1 hit of damage and then die. Unfortunately. Alright, the Ghidorahs that suck. Mecha King Ghidorah, probably somewhere in the middle of B. And this one is in C. Maybe they're like this. I'm honest to God, might just do like this with them. I mean, they buffed him. I don't know, there's almost no difference. There's literally almost no difference between them. And they're rented this season, right? They're rented at like 30. And no one's using them. That's gotta say something about the character. They're rented. And people who've been playing the game for a long time probably have them in the mid-20s and 30s. And no one is using it. They made Mecha King Ghidorah, I mean, like, a little bit better. And then this one is kind of dog water. I mean, I almost want to put him in the C tier. Or at the very least, like, the bottom of B. Like, he's just not good. Like, I don't know how else to dice it up. He's just not very good. Like, maybe this is what it is. This, maybe. Not good. This buff was so used because the HP buff when 3 levels higher still has worse stats than does Ghidorah. Kiryu. A tier. I love Kiryu. Kiryu is a great character. Drop anywhere, AoE when he lands, AoE on his attack. Phenomenal. I love him. Great utility. This season, not insanely good, but if your opponent is focusing a lot of energy on one side of the field, guess what you can do, my friend? You can go ahead and drop your Kiryu on the other side of the field and do some work, help support a push. Kiryu is going to be probably like an evergreen character in the A tier because of just the ability to put him anywhere and has an AoE. Although I will say, I believe he's starting to get power crept, for sure. He is one of the best leaders. This has nothing to do with leaders. This is a units tier list. Only we have a separate leader tier list. His evolution is a bit worse. Speaking of, since we have him here, we'll hit the evolution early. I don't like the other Kiryu. I don't. He goes from always having an AoE to like maybe being a single target, and that's really affecting him, especially now that Shinden is countering them. The AoE is good on him if he is close enough, but if he's far enough away, he's going to be single target. The other Kiryu is always going to be an AoE. He's just overall, I think, a better option. He gets slightly worse when he evolves. Kong is moving into the D tier. I think he was B last season. Maybe he was C last season. Let me check. He was C last season. Kong is definitely moving down. Kong has literally been power. He was power crept since day one. Kong was the second character ever added to this game. Ultima was the first, Kong was the next one, and when Kong was added, he still was power crept by G89. He literally has the same kit as Godzilla 89, except worse stats. And Godzilla 89 also is not doing too hot right now. C tier. Markalite Cannon. I didn't think Markalite Cannon could get any worse than it was. Markalite Cannon is going to be... I mean, it's great on defense. Ginza exists and just deletes everything on that side of the field. And Markalite can't escape that. So Markalite is bad. Markalite has always been bad. Not being able to avoid damage is always bad. Markalite cannot do that. If it's not getting trains, it's going to get hit by Ginza, it's going to get hit by Kiryu, it's going to get hit by Mogera, it's going to get hit by anything with long range. You know what? If it hits a -1, -1 is just going to heal through it. Is what it is. Markalite is bad. Will always be bad. Emblem base also bad. It is marginally better because it will make units that stun. But if you can't get the stuns off, it's really bad. These ones are even worse. They have stun, but they die in literally like less than a touch. Like you could literally breathe on these things and they collapse. I used to use them when the game was new because I used them in Manila. Recognized very early on stun is a good ability to be using. These are bad. These are bad at stunning. Bad at stunning. Gigan, good at stunning. Manila, okay at stunning. These, bad at stunning. Emblem base below Kong is wild. Bro, Emblem base is terrible. I would use Kong over Emblem base any day of the week. I'm not spending the 5 energy to play these things that are instantly gonna just die to anything with like remotely long range. Kong is definitely better than Emblem base. The bases are just bad in general. This guy is also terrible. I think he was in the B or in the C tier last year. I'm putting him straight to the D tier. Mechagodzilla got what, buffed last season, and he's still atrocious. He's not good, and he's definitely power crept even with the buff from last season. It's just bad. He's a tutorial. He's literally one of the tutorial characters, and it shows. And he's definitely aged like that as well. He needs a significant rework. Same with Rodan 64, probably also going to get moved to D. Megaguirus. I like Megaguirus a lot. I think she is pretty beefy. I think she has a lot of utility on defense. But she's also getting power crept. She's also a year 1 character. She's a release character with no significant adjustments since year 1. She is... The slow that she has is really good. That AoE slow. Her health and her damage are okay now. It used to be way better. She used to be a really good option. Now she's kind of falling off because she's getting power crept stats-wise. Manila. Now, Manila I like. You think Ronin 64's buff was big enough where its stats are better than Megaguirus's for the cost? I think that the stats on the Rodan 64 are probably better than Megaguirus, but Megaguirus gets the slow as well, which also you have to count for something, being able to slow the enemy push. But we'll touch that when we get there. Who am I holding? Manila? Manila's not very good either these days. I'm gonna put Manila like right here. 2 costs for the stun can have some use, but is not overall something that we're really going for these days. I mean, if you're gonna stun, you're gonna want probably Gaigan 04, Manila, power crept, but it's a bronze 2-star, so it is gonna be kind of weak. I like Manila though. Missiles, watch this, guys. New players, watch this. Missiles are going straight into the D tier. Missiles are bad. Do not use the missiles. Five cost for the worst damage I ever seen in my life. You say Manila is B tier? I do not think Manila is B tier. I haven't seen a single Manila this season reach my backline. I don't know who's cooking with Manila these days. Mogera is definitely going to be a A-tier character, I think. Probably something like this. Maybe like this. Especially with Ginza. With Ginza being around, Mogera has like a little bit of a come up now. Being able to kind of deal with him. It's not going to be a ton, but being able to get a character onto Ginza means you're going to delay the explosion. That could be pretty good. And you can deploy several Mogeras at a time. So 2 Mogeras on a Ginza can be detrimental. He is decent. He is not amazing. He is kind of persisting in this current meta because Ginza is stationary. And just like Mark Light Cannon, being stationary is bad for you. And Mark Light Cannon will still attack even if it's being attacked. Ginza pauses his main attack when he's getting attacked. I'm going to put him in the middle. But he could always get moved down. Mothra Larva is going into a solid B tier. This is pretty much a guaranteed evolution. And her attack has a slow, which is awesome. Regular Mothra, I am putting in the S+. That is a no question. 3 cost for AoE with what 10 ticks of damage, crazy DPS. What flying? What's there not to like about Mothra? She runs through Shinden like it's nothing. She's gonna run through Earth like it's nothing. I mean, technically everything becomes stationary while attacking something. Okay, everything becomes stationary when attacking something, but everything is moving at one point or another, except for a few units that remain stationary the entire time. There are units that can move away from being attacked. Marklight will not be able to move away from being attacked. Same with Ginza. Mothra should be 25 seconds in your opinion, but the evolution is excellent. So good. Mothra 92 is one of the best units in the game right now. I mean, maybe I would put her higher than Gaigan. Probably higher than Gaigan. A fucking menace of the highest order. Her energy, because she was already good before she got her energy reduced. Now that her energy reduced, it's phenomenal. and she had those buffs. Mothra scares me more than Bai if I got Earth on the field. Yeah, she's Shinden on one side, Mothra on the other. Goodbye to whatever's focusing on that Shinden, especially if it's an Earth. She just runs through Earth. It's crazy. And that's what you need, a unit that's fast, it's fast and has a lot of damage to get through Earth. And this back line right here after Destroy It, these are Earth killers right here, the 3 of them. Mothra Leo is an S tier unit, 100%, like a phenomenal unit still to this day. Is King Caesar but flying, but with better stats. Mothra Leo also a year 1 unit, but the stats have always just been so good that it's kind of hard to power creep her. I think maybe they got a buff at some point too in the last few months. I don't remember, but Mothra Leo hits for a fucking ton of bricks, has a tanky enough health pool that it's going to survive a bunch of hits, and has a decent enough attack. This is an easy S tier. There's no questions asked. Leo's an automatic slot on most of my teams that I make. He is a phenomenal character. Naranga is also like, I like Naranga. I think Naranga is also kind of fallen off this season, especially. I'm gonna put Naranga somewhere like down here. Naranga is cool. Naranga, I don't really think has the health to kind of like keep up these days. I think maybe Naranga would be like something like right here. Naranga is great for the invisibility and is great for the stun, but with Shinden running around and the Earths and the explosions and the AoEs, Naranga is having a really difficult go about it. Like, I had them at the A tier last season or maybe a season ago. I'm moving them into the low end of B. They're just gonna be suffering, which is unfortunate. Maybe if his attack speed was faster, or if he cost 1 less, that would be great. But unfortunate for him, one of the best units in the game right now is stun immune. Another one hits for a ton. This one hits for a ton. This one will stop it. Shinden's gonna block it. Psychic Chorus, this season is S tier especially. I noticed if -1 is surrounded by Destroy Larva with M-Balls in the back means instant death for minus. Interesting. For the first time, I removed Psychic Chorus from your team this season because the healing isn't enough in rank 66, even though it is level 44. Yeah, I'm putting Psychic Chorus, either it's going to be in the bottom of S or the top of A. The reason I think it might end up actually being in the top of A is because there's just so much damage on the field now that Psychic Chorus has been pretty much power crept. And remember, guys, they nerfed Psychic Chorus twice, like over this past year, then the last year and a half. There's just between the -1 explosion and -1's AoE, Earth and Earth's AoE, Fourth Angel, Destroya, Final Wars Godzilla, Dimension Tide. There's so much damage being put out on the field that Psychic Chorus is not healing fast enough. It is not healing fast enough. I'm putting him right like here. Not healing as well as she should be. And that's just the truth. There's just too much damage on the board. Now, Rodan, I think Rodan 64 after the buff is probably somewhere like this. Maybe right under Megaguirus. I don't necessarily think it's in the D tier. Like Mechagodzilla, because it's flying, it's a little bit faster. I think it's faster. But even with the boost, Mechagodzilla is garbage. At least Rodan 64 with the boost is somewhat competent for being a new player character. And some of them didn't do anything from memory of the Heisei Godzilla actor. I didn't think they were gonna like do a memorial or anything in this game for him. But you never know. Maybe they'll do an in memoriam next year. But yeah, Fire Rodan is fine. I think Fire Rodan is, or not Fire Rodan, regular Rodan 64 is on the way out of C tier into D tier as well. I mean, motherfucker, everyone below Megaguirus here is like barely functioning in the C tier, as you know. Okay, this Shin Godzilla is in the C tier because it is easy to evolve. This is in the B tier because it is pretty much a guaranteed evolve. And regular Shin Godzilla is in the, like, top-ish end of B tier. Something like this. Shin Godzilla is just beefy, but not really doing what you need him to do. The worst thing that you could have Shin Godzilla do is be single target attacker. You really want Shin Godzilla to be AoE, which is targeting air. And honestly, I might move Shin Godzilla up a little bit for this season, just to like about here in the A. Because of Shinden's prevalence in the meta, you have units right now. Off the top of my hand, some of the most widely used units right now: Mothra Imago, Mothra Leo, Shinden. Probably the top 3 units that are getting used right now, and they're all in the air. So like the Shinden is gonna proc his AoE 3 times, right? Shinden's gonna grab his attention. He's gonna hit it with an AoE, hit everything around him. Try it again with the AoE, hit everything around him. Hit it again to kill the Shinden. What you want Shin Godzilla to be doing is using his AoE. He is really, really good. If he just had his AoE and didn't have a single target attack whatsoever, he would be fantastic. But it's because he has a really crappy single target attack. That is what is bad. I don't like that he has a single target attack. Shinden is going to proc it. Shinden is going to have that AoE fire. Shinden's not going to take any damage, but your units around the Shinden certainly will. Mothra Leo is going to proc it, and Mothra Imago is going to proc it. His meta relevance, his meta prowess, perhaps, is up out of B tier this season because of his ability to counter those units. He might not counter Mothra or the 2 Mothras very well, but he definitely is a good counter to Shinden, not because he's killing Shinden faster than anybody else, but because Shinden is proccing his AoE for him, with not a lot of threat to the Shin Godzilla. Space Godzilla. Space Godzilla, I think, is in the A tier for sure this season. If not, maybe the low S. Because Shin Godzilla's crystals with -1 are insane, and having those crystals distract things are insane. Actually, you know what? I am moving Space Godzilla up. I'm going to move Space Godzilla into the S tier, because Space Godzilla's crystals count as facilities that will distract Shinden. He is actually a better Shinden counter than Earth. His damage boost is going to be good for your whole push. Having him boost up a -1 is great. Having him boost up an Earth is great. Having him stop your units like Violante or Mothra or, Terrestris from progressing, or Shin Godzilla progressing farther into the map is good. He has a lot of utility. He is showing off this season. It's because of the S tier this season, melee damage buff, distraction, and Loki tank is fun. Yeah, he is countering Shindens. He is helping your evolution units evolve. He is giving a damage boost to your team. The crystals will go down eventually, of course, to your enemies, but having those blockers and distract Shinden, phenomenal this season. He's getting an easy S+. Or, I'm sorry, S. Super X, probably somewhere in the high B this season. Like the same problem with Ultima. We're not really in the market for a sniper, let alone a sniper that's not doing a ton of damage. Yes, has the best range in the game, and range is the name of the game, but it's not as strong as we would like it to be. It is just under Ultima right now in the B tier. I hope to God one day we get a sniper meta again, but the way the characters are moving and the health pools that we have, it is not trending in a positive direction for snipers. Speaking of not trending in a positive direction, Ultraman. Ultraman is probably somewhere like right here now, because Ultraman, are most Season 1 units power crept? I would probably say like half of them, maybe a little bit more power crept for sure. Who are we just on? Ultraman? Ultraman, kind of the same deal with the snipers. There's a lot more leaders that can now hit Ultraman. There's a lot more leaders that can now hit Ultima. They can hit like Mothra 2019. I'm going to take my sweatshirt off because it's getting hot. You can see me strip. But Ultraman just doesn't have, I think, the health to deal with the meta at this current time. Oh, you like my shirt? My wife gave it to me. All the Showa era monsters. Ultraman just doesn't have the health to cut it. He was really good when he was introduced, and he's still decent. I mean, the piercing is good, his range is good. He doesn't have a lot of health. That's his main problem. And like we've said before, so many other characters, there's so much damage being thrown around right now that you can't really afford to come in with a character for 5 costs that's not going to be at least somewhat beefy. Ultraman, unfortunately, after his nerf, lost his beefiness. That's just what's going to happen to him. Oh, hey, you know the artist that made it? Yeah, I think his name is C-Gun or something. I follow him on Twitter. I don't remember what his handle is, but and my wife figured it out. I think she went on my Twitter and looked at the artist that I liked, and she got the shirt for me. Trains is hard to say this season. I think Trains is probably still in the S tier. You're still gonna get basically a guaranteed win if you Trains after Kiryu. Trains on Ginza is fine. Trains the Destroy a Larva is fine. Trainsing the pre-evolutions is good. Trains is just like a solid pick all around. It hasn't really faltered. There's a lot of health going around, and that is a detriment to Trains because it's not going to do as much damage. But you're normally not opening up a volley of damage with the Trains. Trains is usually the closer in the argument, not the opening statement, right? So Trains is still pretty good. Zeton sucks. I love Zeton so much. I really do think that a defensive deck featuring Zeton would be phenomenal. I feel like I put G materials into Zeton and I don't regret it. I love Zeton. Gun to my head, I love Zeton. Is good against Shinden. We'll just delete the Shinden immediately. Is good for a lot of low health guys coming in. The explosion that it drops when it dies is pretty good. It has a ton of health, and the explosion is good. It just does no fucking damage for 8 cost. It does, or 7 or 8, it does no damage. -1 is going to run through it. Earth is going to run through it. Before Earth was buffed, like over this past summer, I was using Zeton pretty effectively in rank 66, securing wins. It was really difficult to get through it. It was like Zeton, Kamacuras, GMK, and Ultima, and like Super X was crazy. And now with everything else, how much damage is getting thrown around, Zeton doesn't cut it. And honestly, the same goes for Mephilas. Mephilas is pretty terrible too. I'm putting him like right above Kong, only because he stuns, but for him being a 6 cost is absurd for his health and his stats. He was power crept the instant he got to the game. I don't think anyone has over like 500 wins with him. He is only above Kong because he can stun. All right, Final Wars Godzilla, S tier. Love Final Wars Godzilla. He's great. After his boost, he's been pretty phenomenal. Strong damage. He does knock back just like the other Jet Jaguar, so he's pretty good at that. He hits anti-air, good health pool. What is he? 7 cost. He's a bit expensive, but he is strong. And in the right player's hands, he can actually just be a agent of death. Final Wars Godzilla, very good. Kong would be A or S if he was. I don't know what you're saying there, but that he was, but I don't know. They would have to give him a crazy damage boost. So where do we put him? Here? Oh no, here. We're talking about this guy. Ava Unit 1. Ava Unit 1 makes me so upset because I really love Ava Unit 1. I have her at level 23 or 25. Kong would be good if he was 5 cost S tier. No, Kong would be good if he was like a 3 cost. Ava 1 is good. Her explosion immunity when she runs is good. Her range is okay. Her piercing is fine. They kind of fixed her animations. I Really do like her on a team, although I am finding it hard to justify finding a spot for her on my teams when the deck lists are so tight. She is good. I don't think she is the best Ava. She certainly is a strong Ava. I'm trying to think if she does anything else that I'm missing. But I think I covered it all. She's alright. She's at the top of C. She's not particularly great. Fourth Angel, though. This is just a huge fuck you unit. One of the best in the game, for sure. Players who are starting as of, this week, and you can't pull the Angels anymore. Ava 1 is a girl. All the Avas are girls. All the Avas are girls. Fourth Angel is incredible. 5 cost, huge damage per hit, and then a massive explosion is ridiculous. Players who are brand new players in the next few months who will not have access to the Fourth Angel are seriously going to just be so fucked. And anyone that was able to get the Fourth Angel to 30 between last November till now, you're winning. Even if you're a newer player and you got one piece of him before he went away, you're up, because inevitably they'll add something that lets you upgrade 3 stars. And just having the Fourth Angel unlocked is big. He's one of the best characters in the game. Very strong damage, very strong tank, will explode when it's dead, and pretty much kill whatever was attacking. It's a spoiler if we explain it here. Evangelion is like a 20-year-old show. It's not a spoiler anymore. All the Avas are girls. They're all biological, like cyborgs. They're all girls. They're all technically female. There you go. Next is Jaden's favorite. G21, or Mechagodzilla 21 is atrocious, actually. And I'm actually going to put him in... he's going to move up above King Caesar this season, because Lord help you, if your Mechagodzilla 21 reaches Earth, you're probably going to cook the Earth with the Mechagodzilla. In extremely close range combat, Mechagodzilla 21 is not the worst. He is not certainly the best, but he is purpose-built for close range combat. Earth is not. If you get him right on top of Earth, you're probably going to win that encounter. If you get him on top of -1, you'll probably come close to winning the 1v1. He is moved up a little bit just because of the nature of how close some of these battles are getting. He is getting up there. GMK. I want to put GMK in S. But part of me says GMK is A tier. GMK has a great AoE, has amazing stats. GMK is mid S below Godzilla 4, point supported by testing high HP ground. Yeah, that's like... I think he's probably like here. And I think that's where I had him last season. I had the two of them together. They're both incredibly strong, and they both do different things. Godzilla 2004 is pretty much just pure damage, and GMK is AoE with the debuff, which is good. It's so funny how he is arguably a strong 4-star because he can get to the thousands right before he hits level 10, but his kit and the fact he doesn't hit air undercuts him a lot. Oh, that's the Fourth Angel. The GMK stands for garbage. GMK is good. I think that he is not as good as Final Wars is. GMK is one of, if not the best AoE in the game. Yeah, no, his AoE is phenomenal. It is deceptively large. He is right behind Final Wars. I think if you don't have a Final Wars at a usable level, GMK is pretty good. He's doing a lot of work on my team this season. A lot of people have been using him effectively against me. You can get, if he dies on Ginza, Ginza's, hitting for less. If he dies on Earth, Earth is hitting for less unless Earth has his damage boost up. He can hit -1. He can remove the Biollante boost. He can remove the Space Godzilla boost. He can remove the Batra boost. He can remove leader boosts. GMK is good. He has a lot of utility. I think these days he's not as good as Final Wars is. Oh, you're referring to Mechagodzilla 21. That's fine. Yeah. Isn't best AoE Super Mechagodzilla? Super Mechagodzilla has a good AoE. I said this is one of the best. I don't think he is the best AoE. Isn't Super Mechagodzilla's technically is piercing, not AoE. AoEs are like circles and cones and stuff. Piercing is a straight line. I'm pretty sure that's how they classify it, but I see your point. Isn't best AoE Super Mechagodzilla? Yeah, right. That's pretty good placement, I think. Say GMK being worse than GO4 is a recent development. -1 so overpowering GMK's is fighting over that DT with him. Not to mention his lower HP makes him weaker to the nuke. That I agree with. I think they were probably neck and neck before, and now I think there's a clear winner of Godzilla 2004. Can you move Ginza around with Dimension Tide? I think so. I think you can. Alright, 10th Angel. Top of A. Something like that, something close, something like this. Either way you shake it, pretty good unit. Long range, explosion immunity. Has its own on-death explosion. Flying, 5 cost, pretty good. Not the, you know what, I do like this. Not the best character that we have. Is just a very solid option for characters. And again, like the 4th Angel, if you're a newer player and you missed out on getting the Angels, you really did miss out on a good unit. Is very good plug and play, a lot of utility. Maybe he isn't the best option over some others, but he is definitely a very decent enough pick that he can hit the A spot. Tanky, long range, piercing, immune to explosions, and does explosion. Especially, you know, I'll put him ahead of Desghidorah because especially in this -1 meta and him being immune to the explosion. Actually, yeah, he's immune to, or is he just immune to on-death explosions? Can someone fact check that for me? Is he only, I can check it out myself. Is he only immune to the on-death explosions, or is he just immune to explosions in general? I know Tokyo version 54 is only immune to on-death explosions. He's not immune to the on-spawn explosion. That, if you already own the units, can you still pull them from the maps? I've heard this season that people are still pulling them from the maps. Next season, you won't be able to pull them from the maps, but you'll still be able to use them. On-death explosions. Okay, so he's not immune to the on-spawn explosion the same way Godzilla 1954 is. He's not immune to the nuke of -1. Okay, that's cool. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you. So I'll move him down again. I was going to put him up if he was immune, but like Tokyo version, not immune. Overall, just good unit. I'm going to put Mari probably like, I don't know, maybe like right here-ish, middle of C. I mean, having that long range is really great. When she pulls up with the Blick, you know, that Blicky, not amazing either. I almost want to put her in D tier. But her range is phenomenal. Pretty much the same range as Ginza. -1 spawn boom is basically its own attack. Yes. So how do you power up the units if you can't pull copies? We don't know how you're going to be able to power up the 3 stars, but the 4 stars you can power them up with the G materials. I think Mari's probably good there. Pretty decent all around. Nothing really crazy to write home about. Pretty good range in the beginning. Pretty decent 3 hits when she's walking up on the field. But she's just going to get absolutely mollywopped as soon as she enters the midfield. -1 is nullified by Rainbow's attacks. Nullification stat. Yes, that's true. This is probably the best of the Evas, and it's Eva 0. I'm gonna put Eva 0 somewhere like up here. I think Eva 0 has room to move up in the A tier. Eva 0 has a lot of health when she's blocking. What is it, 70% damage block or something like that? Or it's 30%. She blocks 30% of the damage or something like that. And then she explodes when she dies, only when she pulls the missiles out. When she's just fighting in the beginning, when you spawn her and she just has the handgun. Is it the handgun or the AR that she has? I don't remember. But when she just has the basic weapon, she's alright. Avager really fell off from its throne of just being alright, so it's sad. Yeah, I mean, she is like, I mean, I would maybe put her like here or something. Like, it says 70% damage reduction, but 9 times out of 10, what it says there isn't really what it's supposed to be. It'll be like only like 30% reduction, something like that. I don't remember exactly how it's worded. It's worded as 70% reduction, but I don't remember exactly how it's calculated, I should say. But I mean, when she just has the handgun, she's alright. When she has the shield down, she's blocking all that damage, that's phenomenal. And then when she pulls out the missile to explode, it's alright. She's definitely fallen off, and I think maybe she just got power crept by other powerful explosions, and the 4th Angel just being the overwhelming best was the best explosion unit in the game. She's better than Burning, in your opinion? I don't know. I think Burning is better. I've been using Burning a lot this season. I think he might be better. I could see an argument for it, but I don't know. I think Burning is better. Personally. Remember, this is my opinion. But I can maybe like, if she was like maybe here or something like that, but at the same time, like, I'm not really seeing a lot of them in play, and I'm not sure if that's just because she's not as practical as some of these others, or because she doesn't have a lot of G materials from people into her. Because she didn't even get a full year in the game before they took her away. She came out March of this year. And the final Evangelion unit that we will be looking at tonight is Eva 02. Is Earth still the best unit in the game? You have to wait and see. Eva 02 is not amazing, at least this one is. This one I'm going to put like right under Kong. Maybe Kong is actually worse than... I'll put Eva 2 above Mephiles and Kong, because at least it's fucking not as dog shit as those ones. She basically just exists to evolve, and then you have the demon dog form, or whatever the fuck this is called. And not also very good either. How many metas can the Earth have if he is nerfed? I don't know. It would depend on the severity of the nerf. She's not B. She is gonna move to like this tier-ish. I think she's probably better than Mari. I don't think she is like, after the boosts, I mean, I don't know, maybe like, I think this is probably better. Something like this. Maybe this. I don't know. Something like this. I don't know where the beast goes. The beast is not very good right now. Single target with the stun when she jumps on the enemy, and then she gets an increased damage boost to air units, and she was designed to pretty much counter the air meta, and now the air meta doesn't really exist, and one of the best units in the game is completely stun immune. So a lot of her uses have kind of fallen off. I know Zfinity or Please Stop My Discord's gonna have a fucking conniption when he sees how low I placed her, but she's not... She just takes too long to do what you want her to do, and there's a lot of really powerful units that are actively working against her kit these days, and it's just not an ideal situation for anyone. Truthfully speaking. Oh, the GOAT is next. Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider, I think, is an S tier character. I think Kamen Rider is pretty good. But this season, I don't know where I would put Kamen Rider. Maybe, like, up here somewhere? I don't even know. Maybe lower than that. I don't know. Or higher. This is going to be a tough one to nail down. It's for sure Kamen Rider. Did you get the SH Monster Arts -1? I did not. I'm not really a big fan of the -1, or the Monster Arts in general. Kamen Rider ranked above Leo and Gaigano 4 consistently in testing. That's where, like, I kind of want to put Kamen Rider, like somewhere up in here. Like, maybe around here, I think. Probably just I mean, guys, Kamen Rider is so good, and I know a lot of people in here don't really have the good levels on them. My Kamen Rider is like in the teens, and it's just so good. Being able to knock away the flying units is phenomenal. I mean, the SH leaving their values automatically going to Kamen Rider will for sure suffer, but I think they'll both slowly move down through the tiers. Yeah, I think with Shinden being in the meta and Kamen Rider just being all around really good with the knockback when he lands and the anti-air stuff, he's going to be good for countering Shinden and kind of keeping your enemies push away. I definitely think he's one of the better characters ever released. Kamen Rider's up there, and he's one of my favorites in this game. I'll put him behind like these goobers or something. I think he's just phenomenal, and I think that it's just a matter of people not having the levels in him at this point. Otherwise, he would be everywhere. Kamen Rider is really good, and a lot of people underestimate Kamen Rider. I think he's really good. I think he's really solid, and I think that a few of you guys also do as well. I'm investing into Kamen Rider so I can get him as my leader. He's level 2 right now. Well, you got a ways to go, Sorgon. You got a ways to go. You want to talk about dog shit? Kumo. Kumo has had a rough go about it between a bunch of nerfs. Not great days for Kumo. Not really working out super well for him now that one of the best units in the game is stun immune. But his spread is big enough and his stun is decent enough that he is not total garbage. If you have him on your team, he is still a viable option. He is just not very good at the moment. He used to be extremely good. Not so much anymore. That is all out the window. He is definitely, if you have him at like level 30 or higher, decent enough. I actually don't know what level I have mine at. I think mine is 30, or can be 30. I hope mine is 30. I hope I got him to 30 before all this shit went away. So good, Kumo's nerfed into oblivion. Leaders got an HP boost, right? Yes, Leaders did get an HP boost this season. Surmeli's that one fry meme for the skins. Oh yeah, shut up and take my money. Kumo did not need the actual gutting from the second nerf. No, I think Kumo was fine after the first nerf. He was in a very good spot after the first nerf. I don't know why he got nerfed a second time, but he did, and it gutted him, unfortunately. Now I'm waiting for my game to load to see if I even have mine at level 30. Mega Godzilla 1974 is good, but not great. I think the potential for him is definitely there. His range is really good. His ability is like kind of whack. I think his mine is level 30. Cool. His ability is not super helpful right now. I feel like his ability is more of a detriment to him, like delaying his attacks and stuff like that. Kumo's still meta and fixed after the first nerf. Yeah, Kumo was good after the first nerf. He wasn't as nearly as oppressive, but he was at least decent. Mechagodzilla 74 is just a decent unit. I don't know if he's better than Kamen Rider. I think maybe he's like right here somewhere in B, like the middle bottom-ish of B. If his transform didn't take so long, I think maybe he would be better, but he has pretty decent stats. He has decent enough range. I've been using him a little bit myself, especially for the daily challenges. I think he's fine. I don't really have a problem with Mechagodzilla. I think he's just kind of like okay right now. And I think with a few more, with like an adjustment or two, he probably could be top of the meta. Maybe not top of the meta. King Caesar doesn't see what makes him bad. He's bad. His stats are bad, and he's easy to counter, and he doesn't do his job right. He has one job to do, and that is to hit the opponent really hard, and he doesn't really hit very hard, and he's easy to counter. So if he gets countered and he can't hit very hard, then he's just basically dead on arrival. Chibi Godzilla is pretty decent as well. Kind of getting washed all over the place. I don't know if I'm rating him too high, but he's definitely out of the slums of like the C tier. He's just in the B tier. He's pretty beefy now. Good for beginners. Always good to have the bronze units get stronger for the beginners. Sad units get like 2 free hits on them when he transforms. Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes it just makes it hard to use Mechagodzilla. But Chibi's pretty decent now for newer players. He's not really being run in rank 66, but any bronze character that gets a boost is going to be good for new players. So I'm a big fan of that. King Ghidorah 2019, I think, is probably somewhere like up here in the A. Him giving the like what 10% damage boost is fine. Him being stun immune is fine. We're not really in a stun meta anymore, but he's single target. I think he's good. I think at higher levels he's gonna be really good, like really, really, really good. I just think the current meta isn't really working well with him, but he's extremely beefy. If we move to like a big single target meta or like a big defense meta, I think he's going to be really strong. It's just unfortunate right now. He's just, you know, I would rather have maybe an AoE on my team or another explosion on my team than pay, what, 7 or 8 to have him do a 10% damage boost and have be stun immune. Good tank. Not a amazing attacker. I mean, he's an okay attacker, but he's definitely a good tank. Monster Year fell off. He might be better this season than last, though. HP helps block against the nuke a bit. Yeah, and then he gets distracted by Shinden. But you know what? You know what is really good? Mothra 2019. Maybe I'm overvaluing her. But she is so fucking good. Giving the stun immune on spawn is whatever. I don't really care about that. Her range is really phenomenal. Her slow is phenomenal. And getting the 2 energy refund is so fucking good. Especially in a pinch, if you need to summon something out and she refunds you that 2 mana, you're cooking. With gasoline. Alright, we've evolved from propane to straight gasoline. I like her a lot. I don't know if I'm overvaluing her here because of how much I think she provides to the team, but she's so good. She's a phenomenal character. Monster 19 dropped from S+ to high S and fixed testing. -1 pipe bomb makes the range not as consistent. That's fair. -1 can get a lot closer to her than you would like units to get. Super Mecha Godzilla is better than Mothra in your opinion? I disagree. I don't think he's better than Mothra. I think he's probably close, but I don't know if I think he's better or not. Mothra 19 can be meta once people get the levels on her. So the 3 characters that I'm actively putting G materials into right now is Biollante, Ultima, and Mothra 2019. Biollante because she's 29. Ultima because he's the character I use as my leader. He's one of my favorite Godzillas, and he's 28. And then Mothra 2019 because I think she's going to be really, really good at high levels. Monster X and Kaiser Ghidorah, or as I like to call them, Dog Shit and Dog Shit 2. Monster X I think is just fine. I think he's better than the regular Ghidorahs, and then I think Kaiser is like pretty decent. I think he's like at the top of B. Kaiser's alright. He basically is on the field for just a little bit and then he dies. And then, or that's Monster X, and then Kaiser comes out. What did you say, Dave? Kaiser is mid A. He has high HP and high attack and deals extra damage towards ground units and can heal. Kaiser is easy mid A. I don't know. I think he's bad. I think Kaiser is not in the A tier. I think Kaiser is a B because you want Kaiser to heal up when he kills things, but he's not really securing the kills a lot of times. Part of me wants to say that you're maybe biased because yours is so powerful, but if you poll the general community, it's really not in favor of him because of how much he costs to not really do anything. Kaiser needs a serious buff like they did with Destroya. I agree. Like, he is not performing the way you would want him to unless you dump levels into him. And then even on the live stream a few months ago, when they pulled up the question from that one dude in chat, and he was like, I put 36 G materials into Monster X, and he's terrible. You know? He performs well if you have him, like, almost maxed out, I guess, but then so does, like, a ton of other people. You know? I just don't think he's breaking into the A. I think he's close. I don't think he's going to get there. Godzilla 1999 is lucky I don't put his ass in the fucking C or D tier, bro. I think 1999 Godzilla is also pretty bad. Kaiser beats Monster Zero in 1v1. His heal is pretty cool, and his ground unit, Girth Meta favors ground units, kind of a ground monster. Oh yeah, I remember that guy from the Discord. Dang. I don't know. I don't think Kaiser is that good. And maybe that's the one thing that like y'all don't like about the tier list, but I every time I see a Kaiser, I just consider the game as one unless it's a gold Kaiser. Kaiser ranked above Burning Godzilla in fixed testing. How? You were the one that put all your GMATs into him. We need Rodan in 2019. Yeah. I do not think Kaiser is good. That could be what I will fight you on. I really don't think Kaiser is A tier. I think he's okay at best. I don't really think he's an A tier character. I don't think he changes anything when you add him to your team. He's just like a beefy unit. He's not like kind of bringing something extra. Meyer Godzilla sucks though. He sucks. He doesn't have enough damage to secure any kills to activate his one ability, which is to set everything on fire. He doesn't have enough health to survive that long either. He just needs a significant stat rework overall. He's going to get the low B tier because I don't... God, I mean... I'll put him here in like the C tier because he's just bad right now. He has a lot of potential to be strong. Not good right now. Megalon. I'm going to put Megalon in the A tier. I'm going to put Megalon like right at the bottom of the A tier. Kaiser in high HP and attack meta, he is very good. I just don't foresee any other character in the A or the S spots that I would rather have Kaiser over. Like, I'm not going, if I'm making a team, I'm not going to choose Kaiser over Batra. I'm not going to choose Kaiser over Ultima. I don't want to choose Kaiser over the fourth Angel, the 10th Angel, Desghidorah, Leo, 2019, Space Godzilla. He's on the top of B, almost A. I wouldn't choose any of these characters in the A. I wouldn't choose Kaiser over any of them. Who did I just place? Megalon. 3 cost. Blocks heals wherever he spawned for like 15 seconds or something like that. And then he has a minor AoE, but every time he hits, he does GMKs on death and on spawn debuff. He's going to get the bottom of A just because he can be pretty good utility, taking down Shinden, taking down buffs in a pinch from, Space Godzillas, Biolantes, Batras, what have you, the leader abilities. He is very usable even at level 1 because at every level he's still doing that debuff. He's just not insanely strong, so he's going to get the bottom of A. I think that he, in the right hands, is very good. Not a huge push winner, but he's definitely a very good support character. Gamera rocks. I'm a big fan of Gamera. Gamera, I probably would put maybe somewhere in A tier-ish. Like middle of A tier. Maybe like somewhere like here. He's not providing a ton of utility like Rodan or Batra are, but he has a ton of damage. That's why I kind of like want to maybe like move him up. Like he is going to push flyers away, and he has big damage to flyers. He's kind of janky against ground units, so that's like another reason why I might want to place him under the Batra. I'm not like super sold on his position here. He could be higher than these two. He could be below these two. I feel like this is probably just a good area for him, mid to high A. I'm not really married to this spot in particular. I just, at the moment, am having a trouble finding a reason that he would technically be better than Fyrodan and Batra in like a team composition. You probably also don't see him that often because he just came out within the last like 3 or 4 months. And probably not a lot of people have levels on him. It's probably why you're not seeing him. Not because he's not good. It's probably because there's not a lot of levels on him going around. But he is decent enough, like stats-wise and just like ability-wise. He's pretty good. He's somewhere over here. I might just put him like right here and call it a day. Better than some of these flyers, just because you can push him away, I guess. In fixed testing, with Super Mecha Godzilla, Gamera, Kaiser, Burning Godzilla, Shin, all these were pretty close, but there was a consistent order. But what are you testing? 1v1s? Like, I don't know what your fixed testing is. You say in fixed testing. I'll put Gamera there. That seems about right. If you think about it, Gamera will keep the Shinden away from distracting other units because of the knockback. Also true. Also true. Gauss. I think Gauss are probably in the B tier. They're going to get mopped up by... Even the maxed amount of Gauss are going to get mopped up by -1. They're going to get mopped up by Earth. They are really good at clearing out Shinden, though, but Shinden isn't the only thing on the field in this current meta, so they're just going to get whacked. Gamera's supposed to be much faster in the movies. Yeah, Trash is expensive and too fast. Does Gamera do double his stated damage because he hits twice? I think he hits twice, and each hit is half the damage. I don't think it's a double. I don't really know, though. But he is very strong against flyers. Okay. Here is the next. Oh, you didn't play that much this season? You're trying to put input out? Come on. I agree. Gauss are probably going to rise up and people get levels on them. All right. You're either for this or you're against this. But I think Rainbow Mothra this season is one of the better units in the game. Because you can give your push immunity, you're going to block the -1 explosion. You are going to block the Ginza explosion. You get a minor AoE. You can give the invincibility to your leader to survive a Ginza explosion, to survive a hit from another unit like Earth. Rainbow Mothra S tier counters Ginza for your leader, counters -1 when you place on your Earth or others low-key, tanky, and attacks fast, not to mention Curie counters. Rainbow Mothra just does not have a lot of damage. Oh, you say yes, Gamera's stat screen is dealt twice when he attacks. Oh, cool. The block, it's the block. Her damage is terrible, and her AoE is okay. The damage is terrible. Her health is pretty decent. Being able to put a free block on your leader with Ginza around, you basically just negate the entire reason for Ginza to exist. If he shoots, 45 seconds later and he hits the shot and your leader is immune, you go fuck them, right? They just wasted a minute of their time. If it pushes immunity, spend dimension time to get rid of it, and then -1, boom. Also acting like your rainbow isn't level 2B at the moment. My rainbow is level 6 at the moment. Rainbow is good this season, for sure. Yes, you can get rid of the you can get rid of the effect by hitting them with a Dimension Tide or trains or missiles or something like that, or Sunday for 2. However, in the event that your opponent doesn't have these things at their disposal for whatever reason, and you can time it right, you are blocking the like your opponent's gonna have to choose. I want to Dimension Tide this push that's all immune, or do I want to Dimension Tide the leader? You know, Rainbow Mothra is a guy. I don't know the genders of the Rainbow Mothras. My Absolute Zero Cannon, I have to use trains to get rid of their first Rainbow Mothra ability, which makes it so much harder. Yeah, you're going to be immune to Absolute Zero Cannon. I think you become immune to like most, if not all, of the leader abilities that do direct damage. Rainbow Mothra is pretty strong in the right hands. You're cooking. There are ways around the invincibility, but the invincibility is just crazy. Rainbow Mothra needs a cost reduction. It's difficult to pair him with stuff that costs 5. Yeah, his biggest detriment is that he costs 5. If he was like a 3 or a 4, this would easily be a meta inclusion in like every deck. It's the cost that is holding him back 100% for certain. But really good in this current meta. Maybe next month they'll drop into the low A or the B. But this month especially, because of all the explosions and the targeting leader abilities, S. Waka, I think Waka is also an S. Waka puts out crazy damage. I don't know where I'm gonna rank Waka, but Waka is so fucking good. Waka is so strong. Getting to 50% health and then pushing all the enemies away is big. Hitting the 3 times is big. Hitting the air is big. Rainbow hasn't been tested in this meta, but seeing as Ginza ranked in S+ and fixed, he could be very good. Yeah, no. Being able to negate the Ginza and stuff, that's good. G21, right, use rate as a miss, almost have a 29, need more Gmats. Jesus Christ. What? What is going on in chat? Oh. What are you saying? I'm putting you in timeout. You're getting 24-hour timeout. I don't like what you're saying. Your Waka 890 is still at 1. Waka is be S+1. Dude, Waka is crazy. Waka is a really good counter to Earth. Waka is just a really good damage dealer in general. Pretty beefy stat-wise. Pretty great attack. In the S tier, I don't know exactly where in the S, but definitely in the higher end of the S spectrum, I would say for sure. Super Mecha Godzilla. I like Super Mecha Godzilla a lot, actually. Godzilla's a bug where he stands there and does nothing. Yeah, we'll live. We'll forego that just for now. Super Mecha Godzilla, I think, also is kind of in the S tier somewhere. His piercing and the range with the slow that it provides is so good. Don't use your Gmats on a bad 4-star. What's good? What's going on? Super Mecha Godzilla is really good. I think a lot of people kind of sleep on him because he's kind of goofy. But he's strong. Super Mecha Godzilla is really good. The reach on him is fantastic. The piercing is really good. The on-spawn AoE is okay. I think the worst thing about him is that it takes him 6 or 7 seconds to deploy, and in those 6 or 7 seconds, you just can't see what your opponent is doing, and that's unfortunate. But other than that, other than that, Super Mecha Godzilla is pretty strong. Aim at Battleline, but Waka getting stuck on how fast they do stuff, but they said they're looking into it. Yeah, they say they'll look into it. It's not gonna, I don't know if they'll change it immediately. But Super Mecha Godzilla, very good. I don't know that I would put Super Mecha Godzilla that high because of his animation being so annoying and disturbing. Listen, guys, the animation only happens once. He does on-spawn damage the once, and then he has to go through that animation the one time. Every time after that, you don't need to do the animation. He sucks for 7 seconds, and then he's really good. Old Man Jenkins, I think, is going to be one of those units that's just kind of like always gas. He's immune to all status effects. The only thing he is not immune to, or 2 things, I guess. The only things that Jenkins is not immune to is your own Psychic Chorus, because why would he be immune to that? Because I gotta get a new fucking chair. He is not immune to your own Psychic Chorus because it's your own heals, so he's not going to be immune to your own heals. And then he is not immune to... He said Super Godzilla's base stats are pretty mid. He loses to Godzilla 4 in testing by a landslide. I mean, I could put him like this, but I still definitely think he's got a lot of utility. This season especially, with the range he's got. Something like this or something. He's definitely up here in the S. But this guy's going to be evergreen. He's immune to all status effects outside of the on-spawn explosions from -1. And he's not immune to your own Psychic Chorus, because why would he be? Otherwise, he's pretty good. He's just going to be... He's decent stats. He is... He's going to be evergreen because he's immune to so much. He's always going to be able to find a home in decks because he's immune to so much. If we ever end up in a meta where a lot of status effects are being thrown around, he's going to be a really good counter. That's just simple as that. It's really that shrimple. Okay. Here's our 3 new units. End of the night. He's also not immune to damage reduction. Not immune to damage reduction. 3 things. So... Shinden. S+. this is an S plus character. Shinden is phenomenal. Shinden is 2 cost and basically distracts your units or your enemy's units for 3 free hits. It'll fly around. On spawn, it's going to trigger a taunt, and any enemy units that are within its range that can hit air are going to get taunted to it, and they're going to turn around completely. I think G21 is an exception, where if he's already attacking, he's not going to stop attacking. Most other units are going to stop what they are doing and turn around to go face the Shinden, and if the Shinden is faster than them, they will begin following the Shinden about halfway up the map, maybe even the whole way if they can't catch it. Shinden will block 2 free hits, and then I'm going to count the third one. It's going to most likely die on the third hit, but then you have just now successfully distracted the enemies by turning them completely around in most scenarios. You have blocked 3 of their attacks, and by this time you have probably built up either a push to kill everything, or you have already killed everything. You can use Shinden to distract Godzilla Earth, because Godzilla Earth, it'll take him 5, if it's just Earth and Shinden, it's going to take him 15 seconds minimum to get through Shinden. 15 seconds. That is 3 Earth attacks. And in that time, your push should be a significant enough ways up to fuck up that Earth. That is what it is. Shinden has saved me more times than not this season. It is crazy. You can basically negate Kiryu and Mogs by dropping Shinden on... Yep, if you Kiryu and Mog drop on you, you drop Shinden down right as they spawn in, and that takes the aggro and it brings them away. Then you drop Kamacuras, you drop your Gaigan 04, your Violante, whatever you have. Shinden is one of the best things they've ever added, to be honest. It's anti-Kiryu Mogis and deals with Girth very well. It has fully replaced Kams on my team. It has also replaced the Kamacuras on my team as well. Shinden is a extremely capable unit and does exactly what you need it to do starting at level 1. This is one of the most user-friendly battle pieces we have ever had in Godzilla Battle Line. At level 1, it is one of the best characters in the game, and the higher it goes, it means the more shots you'll be able to take after the shields have gone away. It's not a whole lot, but mine is already taking 2 additional hits from some players. So I'm going through the 2 shields and then getting 2 hits off of other players if they're weak enough. Shinden is a phenomenal unit. Okay. Let's see if you guys agree with me on this one. Because I could be biased, so I will lay it out flat for you. Looking at Super Godzilla, maybe top of a little strange, comparable up to Chiji 73 and Gaigan 04. It's far lower than most monsters. It costs Violante hard counters. It's crystals too, so does -1 low HP. Bad for nuke. It's distracting Shinden, though. It's really good distraction of Shinden. It's really good boosting your team. I'm keeping Space Godzilla up. If Space Godzilla's not here, Space Godzilla's like right here. Something like this. Space Godzilla's definitely up here for me this season, for sure. I'm using him like crazy. Great effect. I'm telling you, Shikishima's insane. W Shinden. Okay. -1. Normal form, I think, is also one of the best units in the game, period. Jane, your -1 is 34 and is godly. In your opinion, Earth is maybe better, but man, -1 is legendary. My -1 is also level 34, 33, 34 this season as well with the rented. I have to agree that he's probably the best unit in the game. He's just ending pushes. Maybe next season he becomes worse than Earth because the rented levels go away. But when Jaden and I's -1 explodes in the water, it's exploding for like 2,500 damage, 2,500. It's ridiculous. Being able to place him in any water tile up until about halfway through the map is... God, it's just crazy. Like, you basically just end pretty much any push. You have to, yeah, like Average Man chat says, you have to utilize the water gimmick. I've seen people place him on land and expect, I don't know what they're fucking expecting. You need to place him in the water. The water is half of his kit. You play him in the water, and then he explodes for a shit ton of damage, and then he pops up with healing for like, what, 15 seconds, and then he has an AoE. The whole purpose of him is to stall out the enemies in the water and end the push. Shinden, 4th Angel, Earth, -1. He is absolutely fucking sweeping the meta right now. He's destroying Earth. Earth is in the water? Guess fucking what? -1 is going to blow up like a quarter of his health and then just start wailing on him. And then if Shinden is there, God forbid, that is going to turn around and attack Shinden. He's dead. 4th Angel's dead. Anything, if it is even in the water remotely, and this guy pops the fuck off, it's over for them, and it's going to give, you know, it's going to explode, and if he doesn't kill something, he's going to bring it pretty close to death, and then your allies, your, like, you know, battle pieces that you drop are just going to clean up the mess. That's it. Phenomenal piece. I'm not putting him over Shinden because of how versatile and useful Shinden is at early levels, but -1, do not underestimate how fucking powerful he is. I feel like an idiot in my early unit review saying that he was probably on the same level as Final Wars or GMK. Admittedly, that was the day after the season started. He's phenomenal combo. Everything in this top of the row is this entire S+ section is literally my team right now in the game. I have 4th Angel, Destroya, Mothra, Bylante, Gigan, and Shinden, and -1. And his heal someone helps too, not when he's ganged up by damage dealers, obviously, but yeah. Anything, the damage will keep him up enough that stall out the enemy team. He's going to do a lot of damage. He's going to make it so that your enemy just basically gets a ton of damage dealt to them. They get stalled out like crazy, and then you just come in and you clean it up, and that's the end of the push right there. If his explosion doesn't just kill the push immediately anyway. All right, final one of the night, you guys. Godzilla -1 Ginza version. I am not super sold on Ginza. He is either the top of S tier, or he is the bottom of S+. Can I actually start a poll? I would really like to see what you guys have to say about him. Yeah, Ginza needs the right deck to do well. I agree. He is either the top of S or he is S+. Or he's the bottom of S+. I like the -1 doesn't have that much utility for defense because at least levels him out. Jaden says A. Ginza version, you're getting rocked by Gigan 04. I think Ginza definitely is this season higher up than he normally would be. I think moving forward, he's going to just be kind of a niche piece. Without the rented, he's going to be very difficult for people to use. He's extremely easy to counter. A lot of people play around him wrong. They try to counter him specifically, but you need to just kind of play normally and then get over to him. Super Godzilla lead, Ginza, Wagashin, and Biotrains, Dimension Type -1. Good team. I think that this season he's going to be pretty high just because he is rented. I do not foresee him being this high next season or the season after. He kind of needs a specific team to work around, but then once you have him on the field and your opponent tries to counter him and you are countering your opponent who's trying to counter him, you are going to most likely win. You'd say A, some good, but after my 50 match, I just found myself not using him against good players. For 7, I don't like spending on a unit that's not battling in the midfield. I agree. He has a lot of downsides. He has a lot of positives. I think overall, he's a fun unit. I don't think he's definitely bad. Ginza can't deal with cheap rush units, but against slower teams, he rocks. Yeah, especially. Which is why I think he's going to be in the S tier this season. Next season, he'll probably be in the middle or the low end of A, maybe B, depending on how it starts shaking out next season with whoever gets added. But this season, especially because of rented, I think that he is going to be near the top of S, just because does a lot of damage with the rent. But there you go, guys. Yeah, if he was 5 or 6, that'd be really good. I agree. If he was like a 5 energy, this would be busted if he was 5 energy. But there you go, guys. I think this is a good list. I think this is a good enough list. It's 10:30. We've been here for a minute. I think we nailed it, you guys. I think we really showed up tonight. Ugh. You found Manila and King Caesar very effective in taking out -1 after he spawns. Manila stun locks him hard. King Caesar can make quick work of him with the charge plus subsequent attacks. In rank, what, 3? Fun poll. You're welcome, Lenbo. I think Waka could be higher. I think that everyone in A belongs in A. Placement of A is up to you. I think everyone that's an S and S plus belongs. I think everyone that's in these tiers belongs in the appropriate tiers that they're in. The order might be different depending on who you ask, but I think everyone is in the appropriate tier at least. But that's what I got for you guys tonight. I hope you enjoyed this one. I had a lot of fun with this. There's a lot to talk about with the way the current meta shook up. I think Waka could also be higher, but he's in the proper tier, and that's what matters. Maybe going forward, we just do tier lists based on what tier they are in and not the position in the tier. Might honestly just be the better way to go about it. You still disagree on Kaiser. Neon, I don't care. I'm taking it to your DMs. I'm going to tell you I don't care. I'm just playing. You're good. You're a good guy. I know you know what you're talking about. I'm just giving you grief. Alright, you guys. That's what I got for you tonight. I hope that you had a good time, and I will catch you all on the next one. Bye-bye.